Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Almost time for their annual spring clearance sale, and it's going to be a doozy as it is every year. We'll tell you more about that next week, hint, hint. But if you ever thought about a pool table or an air hockey table or foosball table, home theater seats, a new bar and bar stools, et cetera, get ready for their spring clearance sale coming soon. Games and Things, ourgameroom.com to learn more. Great company, been around for more than 40 years. Get down and see Scott and Lisa Mellon, if not this week, then maybe next week. Games and Things. All right. As we noted earlier, spring practice got underway this week at Tennessee. Vince, Ryan, I know you guys have been over there. Anything stand out to you? Guys in and out of shape, practice running more smoothly because they now have a year of Heupel system under their belt. Anything? What observations you got? The way guys are throwing the ball, Taven Jackson, whatever. Vince, I'll start with you.
Well, I think Rodney Garner isn't on edge as much. I don't hear him really getting after guys quite as much. Now he is still. Get your butt down, eyes up, things like that. But he doesn't have the constant correction and displeasure that he did last year. So I really like that group. That group looks like it's running through its techniques well. They have some big bodies there. They have a lot of bodies there when you include their outside linebackers. Mike Eckler has been in that with that group as well. Even Josh Heupel has been hanging out at times with the defensive linemen. Really like Taven Jackson. He looks the part, quick arm release. Alex Golesh, when I asked him about him yesterday, was very complimentary on how he's understood the system. And then a couple of the other freshmen, and Desmond Williams, defensive back, they're going to really need him, and he needs those extra reps. And then also Justin Williams, Thomas as well, a running back. He looks the part also.
I would start with the newcomers too. I think this group overall looks the part. Justin Williams Thomas is a good example. Elijah Herring at linebacker. Yeah. They've got some newcomers who really improved just the look of this team overall. They're looking closer. Not there yet. I think they still need another recruiting class. That's one thing I would say that's stood out to me is they're better looking physically, looking closer to a team that can compete in the SEC. But I think another full recruiting class is needed to really turn over this roster and improve that overall. I would say, though, that they're a smoother team. You can tell from day one there's a difference in year two. You see it. We've gotten used to covering this at Tennessee, but you can tell a difference in year two every time, and I think that's definitely the case with this team, especially the way they practice as fast as they go. There's a noticeable difference on the practice field, I think, in year two.
They got a good quarterback coming next year.
Yeah. Are there, let's put it this way, in terms of being prepared for the practice, can you tell, this is now like offensive line, for example. We talked about it during the season that there are times where they're wearing out and they'd say, we need to take a deep shot here to get them off the field. Is their athletic shape a little different this year compared to last year, for example, in terms of running that system? You mentioned they know the system. Yeah. I'm wondering if certain bodies look more attuned to play in this system this year.
Yeah, I think there's clearly been some improvement in that. Guys like Elijah Simmons, he looks noticeably slimmer, I think. There are guys like that who have really improved in just one off season. So I think you'll see even more of that in August, but certainly there's been progress there. I think on the offensive line you see it, but Elijah Simmons is one that stands out for sure.
I would just think that bodies would start to fall in line with what they want that system to do. And now that guys have been through it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I better not eat that pasta today. So let me ask you guys very quickly, one guy, and whoever wants this can get it, one guy who has to step up this spring. If Tennessee could pick one guy and say, we really need you to step up, it can be based on position of need, wherever you want to go. I'll just handicap it, I'll just nix it by saying no quarterback, because everybody always goes to quarterback. So you can't say Hendon Hooker. We know what we got there. What about other positions? Who would be the one guy if Tennessee, if you ask Josh Heupel who's the one guy who could get to step up, who would it be?
I might have pointed to a corner, but I think they're all hurt this spring.
They're all hurt, yeah.
So I would have to say Jalen Hyatt. Cedric Tillman can't do this by himself. You don't have Velus Jones. For this offense to be operating at its peak, you have to have multiple targets. You have to have multiple guys stretching the field, making plays down the field. You can't just bracket Cedric Tillman. Jalen Hyatt's going to have to make some plays. He had a little underwhelming year last year, so I think he's got to have a big spring. Seems like he's filled out a little bit, and I think he's got to prove that he can make consistent plays.
Cut down on the drops.
Yeah.
Drops bit him last year.
Yeah.
I'll say offensive tackle. Somebody's got to emerge from that group to help replace Cade Mays. They still might look to the transfer portal for a plug-and-play guy, but in case you don't get someone who's a plug-and-play guy, Gerald Mincy, the Florida transfer, or Dane Davis or Jeremiah Crawford, somebody's got to step forward there and make the offensive line solidified. That's a concern if you have a hole at right tackle or left tackle.
How about just go with a position group? pass rushers.
Okay.
Your outside guys. Tyler Barron.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, somebody's going to have to be able to get pressure without you having to send 8 guys.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Let's get back to Iamaleava.
You said it right.
There it goes.
I almost hesitated.
None of us have butchered it
There,
today.
gotta
I feel,
get the
I feel
graphics
proud
out
of
of the way.
us.
There we go. Iamaleava.
Brian tried to say
Let's
it.
talk about the NIL deal that he'll surely get. Sounds great. Is there a negative side to that, though? We'll discuss. This NIL thing's new to everybody. Come on back. We'll discuss Nico and his new quarterback, his NIL deal next. Come on back.